What if everything you were taught about pocket change was completely wrong? Because right now, real collectors are paying insane money for coins most people ignore every day. Not rare in museums, not locked away in banks, but still circulating, still being spent, still being lost. Some of them sell for a few $1,000s. Others go far beyond that. And the scariest part is, you could already have one without knowing it. Let's see what you're really holding. In 1982, the US Mint changed composition. Copper was being replaced with copper-plated zinc. But during that transition, a rare error combination appeared. The 1982D, small date bronze tip error, is one of the most studied transitional varieties. Today's market reality, depending on authenticity, composition, and certification. Confirmed examples trade in a very wide range. Roughly $10,000 to $25,000 plus. Extremely rare confirmed bronze examples can go even higher in private sales. The key identifier is the spacing of the two in the date, sitting noticeably farther from the rim. A tiny visual detail, with massive financial impact. Now move to a modern coin. 1995, Lincoln cent at first glance. Nothing special, but in MS69 red condition. It becomes a near-perfect mint state survivor. Market reality today. High-end certified MS69 red Lincoln cents typically trade in the range of $2,000 to $8,000 plus. In exceptional registry quality examples, competition between collectors can push it higher. Why? Because MS69 is almost perfect, and MS70 is practically unreachable. This is the level just below perfection. World War II era production, and a major minting variety appears. The 1942 Jefferson Nickel D over horizontal D, T. This happens when the mint mark was punched twice in different positions. Today's market, depending on strike quality and full steps designation, value ranges typically $3,000 to $15,000 plus. Top certified full steps examples with strong eye appeal can reach higher in competitive auctions. Collectors don't just pay for rarity, they pay for detail, especially on Monticello steps. One of the most famous modern US mint errors, 1970 Roosevelt Dime, missing the S mint mark, a San Francisco proof die error, released before correction. Current market reality, typically $1,500 to $4,000 plus. Top-graded, deep Cameo examples can push beyond that in strong auctions. Why it matters? Because mint marks are supposed to define origin. When one disappears, the entire system changes value. In 1971, the United States introduced a new large dollar coin, the Eisenhower dollar. But proof versions are something completely different. Deep mirrored fields, frosted devices, strong Cameo contrast. This visual contrast is what collectors chase. Today's market reality. High-grade proof Cameo examples typically sell around $20,000 to $45,000 plus. Top registry quality coins, with perfect surfaces and strong eye appeal, can reach even higher in competitive auctions. A modern dollar, entering elite collector territory. Now, a coin most people ignore. 1974D. Lincoln cent, billions were minted. So why does it matter? Because condition changes everything. In MS69 red condition, this coin becomes extremely scarce. Market range today, $500 to $2,500 plus. Top population verified examples, especially with full red surfaces and strong luster, bring premium prices from registry collectors. Even common coins become rare at the top of the grading scale. 1977S. Lincoln cent proof, at first. A proof coin sounds ordinary, but PR70 Deep Cameo changes everything. Perfect surfaces. No imperfections, strong black and white contrast. This is absolute top grade. Market reality, $1,000 to $3,000 plus. In special holder sets, or perfect eye appeal examples, collectors compete aggressively because PR70 is perfection, and perfection is limited. One of the most famous modern proof errors, 1983 Roosevelt Dime, struck without the S mint mark, a San Francisco proof issue that escaped detection. Today's value range, $3,000 to $10,000 plus. Depending on grade and Cameo strength, some examples bring even more in elite auctions. A missing letter, turning a proof coin into a rarity. 1984, Lincoln cent. But this is not normal strike. This is the doubled die Obverse variety. Doubling is visible in inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. No microscope needed on strong examples. Market reality today, $200 to $2,000 plus. High-end, red MS, 68 examples. Can go higher depending on eye appeal and certification. A minting misalignment, creating a collectible variety. 1990, D. Kennedy, $half, large mintage, but condition rarity matters. In MS67 condition, it becomes surprisingly scarce. Market range, $300 to $2,500 plus. Top registry quality examples with strong luster. Can push beyond that in competitive bidding. Even modern $half. Become rare at the top tier. Next, COİN is one of the most famous error pennies in US history. 1955, Lincoln cent, doubled die Obverse. The doubling is not subtle. It is visible on Liberty and In God We Trust. Even without magnification, the error stands out. Today's market reality, $1,000 to $15,000 plus. Top red MS65 examples. With strong eye appeal and sharp doubling. Can push even higher in competitive auctions. A single minting misalignment created a legendary coin. Next coin takes us back over 100 years. 1914 D. Lincoln cent. A key date in the early Lincoln series. Low survival rate in high grade and strong collector demand. Market reality today, $2,000 to $20,000 plus. Top MS6 for MS66, read examples. With original surfaces and strong strike quality. Reach premium auction levels. This is not just age, this is scarcity in condition. Now one of the most dramatic modern errors. 1969 S doubled die Obverse. Extremely sharp doubling on inscriptions, and one of the rarest certified Lincoln cents. Market reality, $25,000 to $100,000 plus. Only a small number are confirmed genuine. High-grade examples are heavily controlled in private sales and major auctions. A modern penny with six-figure potential. Next coin is a key rarity in US silver dimes. 1916D, Mercury dime, low mintage, high collector demand, especially in full bands condition. Market reality, $1,500 to $20,000 plus. Top MS66 full bands examples can exceed that depending on eye appeal and toning. A small silver coin with elite status. Now one of the most iconic wartime coins, 1943 steel cent. Made during World War II, when copper was needed for war production. But rare errors exist. Wrong planchettes, off-metal strikes, transitional pieces, market reality. $100 to $10,000 plus. Rare certified errors, especially wrong metal strikes, can go much higher depending on authenticity and grade. A war decision created a collector field. Next coin is one of the most famous wartime mistakes. 1944 steel Lincoln cent. After switching back to copper in 1944, a few steel planchettes were accidentally struck. Today's market reality, $30,000 to $100,000 plus. Top certified examples, depending on authenticity and condition, can reach six-figure territory in major auctions. A transitional mint error that should not exist. Next coin takes us deep into early Lincoln series. 1913S, Lincoln cent. Low survival rate in high grade and strong collector demand. Market reality, $2,000 to $25,000 plus. Top red MS65 examples, with strong original luster, reach premium levels. Early mint coins are becoming harder to find in top condition. 1913, early Lincoln cent era. Millions were struck. But very few survive like this today. Most are worn from circulation. Lost their original surface long ago. This example stands out. Strong red luster, sharp strike, clean fields. Not rare by mintage, rare by condition. That's what makes collectors pay attention. Recent sale, $23,500. 1971, Lincoln cent. At first glance, nothing special, but under light, something breaks the design. Liberty, doubled. In God we trust, doubled. Not damage, not wear. A minting error locked into the die. High-grade examples like MS69 rarely survive clean. That's why collectors pay attention. Value, $3,000 plus. A coin, never meant for circulation. The 1940 Washington quarter, in proof condition, created for collectors, not for everyday use. Mirror-like surfaces, a sharp, clean strike, no visible damage. Along the rim, natural toning formed over decades: olive, amber, slight rust tones at PR67+. Even the smallest flaw matters. But this piece survived. Today, coins like this trade around $1,500 to $2,500. Looks like a normal nickel, but it's not. 1945, Jefferson Nickel, MS67+. Full steps. The steps of Monticello, fully visible, sharp, rare. Most coins from this year don't have that. Strong luster and natural toning. Gold cherry green. At this level, even tiny flaws matter. But this one survived today. Pieces like this reach $7,000 to $10,000 plus. This coin looks unusual, but it's not. A 1959 Washington quarter, grade MS67. Fewer than 40 coins of this caliber. That's where the rarity begins. Clean, untouched surface. Bright silver in the center. And around the edges, iridescent tones, jade, amber, soft pink, no markings, no distracting details, just near-perfect condition. Today, coins like these can fetch $8,000 to $12,000. At first, nothing special. A 1948 Franklin half dollar. But look closer. MS67, full bell lines. That's the whole point. The lines on the Liberty Bell are absolutely crisp, clean, undamaged. Most coins don't have that. After the war, fewer high-quality examples survived, and at this level, almost none survive. High luster, clear striking, near-perfect condition. Today, such coins can be worth $10,000 to $15,000. And now, something different. A modern coin. But don't underestimate it. 1993 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Graded MS68+ red, near perfect. Bright red luster, like it just left the mint. No wear, almost no flaws. But here's the catch. Modern coins rarely survive. In this condition, one tiny mark, and the grade drops. That's why coins like this are harder to find than you think. Today, top examples reach $800 to $1,500. But now, we go back in time. More than a century. 1910, Lincoln cent, graded MS67 red. This is where things get serious. Original color, fully preserved, bright, fresh, like it was just minted. Shades of red, gold, soft orange. No wear, no distractions. Coins like this almost never survive, because early pennies were heavily used. But this one escaped time. Today, examples like this can reach $20,000 to $30,000. And now, we step into something even rarer. A proof coin from wartime America. 1942 Washington quarter, graded PR68. This isn't circulation. This is special strike quality. The surfaces mirror-like, deeply reflective around the edges. A crescent of color appears, iridescent tones shifting in the light. Silver base, but alive with color. And here's the shock. Only a tiny number were ever minted. Most didn't survive in this condition. Today, this proof piece sold for $4,800. And now, something for serious collectors. 1931, Lincoln Cent, graded MS65 plus red. But there's a detail here that changes everything. A CAC sticker, that small green label, means it passed a second level of expert verification, not just graded, but double-checked for quality. The color is original red, strong luster, clean surfaces for the grade, and that CAC approval adds extra trust and demand. Coins like this don't sit long in the market. This example sold for $1,100. And now, a coin that surprises many collectors. 1965, Lincoln Cent, MS67 plus red. On paper, it's extremely common. Over 1 billion were minted. But in reality, very few survived like this. Full, original red color. Strong mint luster. Near perfect surfaces. Most examples lost their color long ago, or show heavy marks from circulation. That's why this grade changes everything. It's not about the date anymore. It's about condition rarity. Coins at this level are considered scarce, even from massive mintages. In today's market, examples like this can reach around $1,500, $4,000, depending on eye appeal. And now, we move into a classic of American coinage. 1919 Mercury Dime, MS64 plus, with full bands. This is not just about age, it's about strike quality. The luster is strong, with a soft, natural glow wrapping around the surface. Under light, the design details stay sharp, even in the hardest to see areas. What makes this piece more interesting are the natural die cracks present on the coin. They form along the lower edge, showing stress from the original minting process. But the surface itself remains clean and well preserved for the grade. Coins like this are valued for originality and strike quality, especially with full bands details still visible. In today's market, examples like this typically trade around $4,000, $7,000 depending on eye appeal and strike strength. And now, a late-date Washington quarter that stands out. 1950-90, Washington quarter, MS67 plus. At first glance, a common year. Over 62 million minted. But in this condition, it becomes something else. The surfaces are nearly flawless, bright and clean under light, and then comes the color, multicolor toning. Deep blues, soft reds, gold and green, shifting across the surface. Not artificial, but naturally formed over decades. At MS67 level, even tiny imperfections would disqualify it. That's why true top-grade survivors like this are surprisingly scarce for the series. In today's market, examples like this typically reach around $6,000, $10,000, depending on toning, quality, and eye appeal. And now, something most people miss. 1961 D Jefferson Nickel, MS64 plus full steps. Looks normal at first, but the detail matters here. Full steps on Monticello, clear and complete. That's rare for early 1960s strikes. Most coins from this era come weakly struck. Bright satin luster still remains. Clean and sharp for the grade. Collectors pay for one thing here. Strike quality, not just the number. In today's market, around $2,500, $5,000 depending on eye appeal. And now, back to a classic Lincoln Cent. 1958, Lincoln Cent, MS67 plus red. Not a key date, not a low mintage coin. But in this condition, everything changes. Full original red color. Strong mint luster. Clean, sharp surfaces. Most coins from this era lost this color decades ago. That's why MS67 red examples are genuinely scarce today. Collectors chase them because condition like this simply didn't survive in large numbers. In today's market, pieces like this typically trade around $2,000, $4,500, depending on eye appeal. And now, a true variety coin. 1937 double die Washington quarter, MS66. At first glance, it looks normal. But under magnification, the difference appears instantly. Doubling is visible on the motto and across the date. A minting error, locked into the metal. Satiny luster still remains across the surface, with light, natural toning and only minimal contact marks for the grade. This is what collectors chase, not perfection, but mistakes from the mint. In today's market, examples like this typically sell around $12,000, $20,000, depending on eye appeal and clarity of doubling. And now, we move into proof territory. 1939, Lincoln Cent, PR67 plus red. This is not circulation strike. This was made for collectors, mirror-like fields, bright reflective surfaces, and a strong red color. Still fully preserved at this level. The coin looks almost untouched. Only tiny imperfections separate it from perfection. With a mintage of just 13,520 proof coins, survivors in this condition are truly limited. In today's market, pieces like this typically reach around $2,500, $4,500, depending on eye appeal. And now, a true condition rarity. 1918, Lincoln Cent. MS67 plus red. At first glance, it's just a common early cent. But in this condition, everything changes. Silky smooth surfaces with strong original red color still fully intact. Strike detail is razor sharp. Every design element clearly defined. Most 1918 cents were heavily circulated, but high-end survivors like this are extremely rare, not because of mintage, but because of preservation. At this level, coins sit at the very top of Lincoln's cent condition, rarity, and in the market. Ultra gem examples like this have reached around $45,000, $60,000, depending on eye appeal and certification. And now, a small coin with big detail. 1950 D Roosevelt Dime. Full bands. At first glance it looks simple, but under light, everything changes. Strong luster across the surface, with rich natural toning along the edges. Deep autumn colors, framing the design on both sides and in the center. Bright, clean, silver contrast. The key detail here is the full band's strike. That means the lines on the torch are fully separated and sharp, a detail most coins never show. At this level of preservation, even tiny marks would matter. This example sold for around $1,560. And now, a modern perfection piece. 1981 Susan B. Anthony Dollar PR70 the Hype Cameo. This is the highest grade possible. PR70 means perfect. No wear, no flaws, nothing to remove from the surface. Deep cameo contrast makes it stand out even more. Frosted design against mirror black fields. Sharp, dramatic, almost artificial looking perfection. But here's the reality. Even modern coins rarely reach PR70. Most stop at PR69 or lower. That's what makes this one special. It sold for around $1,273. And now, back to Jefferson Nickel. 1956 D Jefferson Nickel, MS66 plus full steps. At first glance it looks ordinary, but the detail tells another story. Full steps on Monticello. Clear, sharp, fully defined. That's the key feature here. Most 1956D nickels do not show this level of strike, even in high grades. This is why full steps examples are considered premium level coins. Soft gray-blue luster flows across the surface, with only minimal marks visible under light, clean, sharp, and well-preserved. Coins like this sit in the top tier of the series. This example sold for around $2,640. And now, a high-end Roosevelt dime, 1951 Roosevelt dime. MS68, at first glance, it looks clean. But at this level, clean isn't enough. The surfaces show a soft, sandy silver patina, natural aging across most of the coin. Around the edges, a subtle shift of color appears. Olive and orange iridescence, not damage, but original toning. And importantly, no noticeable abrasions at all. That's what separates MS68 from everything below it. Near perfect preservation, with strong eye appeal for the grade. This example sold for around $2,185. And now, one of the most famous early Kennedy proofs. 1964 Kennedy half dollar. PR67 deep, Cameo. But this isn't just any proof. It's the accented hair variety. On the earliest dies, Kennedy's hair was engraved with extra detail, especially around the forehead, stronger, sharper, more dramatic. But it didn't last long. The design was quickly changed because the portrait looked too harsh for approval. That means only a small number of these early strikes exist. Deep cameo contrast makes it even more intense. Frosted details over mirrored fields, sharp separation, strong visual depth. Collectors chase this variety for one reason: it represents the very first version of the design. This example sold for around $4,300. And now, a modern proof error. 1990 Lincoln cent. PR68 deep cameo. At first glance, it looks perfect. Mirror fields, frosted details, deep cameo contrast. But the value isn't just the grade, it's the mistake. The No-S variety. Proof coins from San Francisco normally carry an S mint mark, but here, it's missing. A minting error that slipped through production. Only a very small number are known to exist. And that's why collectors watch this closely. Because modern proof errors like this are extremely hard to find. This example sold for around $4,600. And now, another premium Roosevelt dime. 1951 Roosevelt dime. Full bands. At first glance it looks clean, but under light. It comes alive. Olive gold tones. Soft reddish fringe iridescence. Flowing across the surface, the luster is strong. With a frosty mint finish still intact. Only a few small areas break the brilliance. But overall, it stays extremely well preserved for the grade. And the key detail again. Full bands on the torch. Sharp separation. Clear strike definition. That's what pushes this coin into premium territory. This example sold for around $6,800. And now, the final coin. 1941 D Jefferson Nickel. Full steps. This is where the series peaks. Radiant mint luster, flowing across every surface. Strong strike definition, with full separation on Monticello steps. A detail collectors call the true eye appeal factor. Underlight, subtle violet and rose toning appears, adding depth to the surface. The coin sits very close to perfection, with only minimal traces of handling visible under magnification. At this level, it's no longer just condition, it's preservation. At the highest standard, this example sold for around $11,400. And that's the world of rare US coins. Some look ordinary, until condition changes everything. If you found even one coin like these, you might be holding something far more valuable than you think.